सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Last mantra, 12th, I will chant, you can repeat. एक एव हि भूतात्मा भूते भूते व्यवस्थितः एकधा बहुधा चैव दृश्यते जलचन्द्रवत्। From the 8th mantra, the nature of Brahman is revealed. Brahman, which is Atma, is revealed through these mantras. Because the ultimate solution to the problem of the mind is in self-knowledge alone. We may have some relative solutions for relative peace of mind, relative freedom of the mind, but the ultimate solution is in knowing Brahman as Atma. And therefore, that Atma Jnanam is presented. Atma Jnanam is Brahma Jnanam because Brahman is Atma. And in the last shloka, we were seeing that how one Atma appears as many. Eka eva hi bhutatma bhute bhute vyavasthitaha. One self of all beings is present in all beings. But drishyate, it is cognized, ekadha, as one, bahudha cha eva, and as many. Like what? Jalachandravat, like the moon reflected in water. Here, the teaching given is that even though Atma is one, but appears to be many because of the manyness of media of reflection. So, manyness of Atma, which appears to be there, is not real. Manyness belongs to the container or the media, whereas contained or that which is reflected, bimba, the original is one. The original is one, reflections are many. And reflections and original are are mixed up, as it were. People don't distinguish, and therefore reflected one alone is considered to be the original. When you do not know original, duplicate becomes original. Like in big ashram, many swamis will be there, and you want to see the head of that ashram. And generally it happens that whatever be the hairstyle, talking style of the head, these sishyas also will be following, knowingly, unknowingly. Therefore, when you meet somebody, you think, oh, he is the main one, because he resembles to the picture you have seen. And then you come to know that he is also the secretary, and then he takes us to the original. So here, reflected and the original are not distinguished, and therefore we consider the reflected one to be original, and reflected ones are many, therefore we consider that original is many. Similarly, here Atma is manifesting through this body-mind-sense complex. So body-mind-sense complex is a medium of reflection. In Sanskrit we use the word upadhi. And this upadhi is manifold, and therefore Atma appears to be manifold. So this particular mantra answers the question, if Atma is many, then how come we have got experience of many jivas, many Atmas? The answer is because of the manyness of upadhi, media of reflection. Like the moon is one, but reflecting media are many, therefore the moon appears to be many. And if person knows the original moon is in the sky, for that person, how many moon will be cognized? Ekadha. So Ekadha means as one. For a person who is seeing the moon in the sky, the moon will be understood as Ekadha, as one. Because Bimba, the original, is one. But if a person is looking upon the reflected moons, then how many will see? Bahuda. So whether you will see Atma as one or Atma as many depends upon you are seeing the Atma as such without upadhi, or you are seeing Atma manifesting through the upadhi. And considering, attributing the manyness of the upadhi to the Atma. So when you are seeing reflected Atma alone as Atma, you will see Atma to be many. But when you see that there is only one pure consciousness behind all of them, then Ekada Drishyate. Then Atma will not be seen as many, it is seen as one. So here, the drishtanta of this Jyotihi, Prakasha, the body of light, like moon or sometimes sun, is given. Now in the next shloka, Akasha Drishtanta is given. Prakasha Drishtanta is the explanation based on Prakasha Drishtanta. Prakasha means light. Is called Pratibimbavada. And one subdivision is Abhasavada. So based on the light example, we give the explanation. That explanation is called Pratibimbavada, and with some variation Abhasavada. Now, considering the example of Akasha, this another explanation is given, and that particular explanation is called Avachedavada. So Shruti does not have any preference to any particular vada. Shruti says you can see this fact that how one Atma appears as many with the help of light example, or you can see with the help of space example. Whichever you like. Everybody will not like everything. That's why we have some variety. If you like roti, you take roti, otherwise you take rice. So both we keep. Only rice. So roti people will cry. So roti people only roti we say rice people will cry. Therefore we say let there be both. So similarly Shruti like a mother, wants all children to be fed. And therefore Shruti gives the example of light also. Shruti gives the example of Akasha also. So now Akasha example. घटसंवृतमाकाशम् नीयमाने घटे यथा घटो नीयेतनाकाशः तद्वज्जीवो नभोपमः. In your text it must be niyamano, it is there, no? It should be niyamane. So one vertical stroke you can strike it off. Okay. Here the example is, let us understand the example first, then we'll understand the words. If there is a pot, let us, we have practically pot is there, okay. Then there is space inside this pot, in fact outside also, but just to focus on particular idea. There is space which is conditioned by this pot. Space which is conditioned by the pot. That is called in Sanskrit called Ghata Avachinna Akasha. Avachinna means circumscribed, conditioned. So space conditioned by pot, Ghata Avachinna Akasha. And here that Avachinna, conditioned, is called Samvruta, circumscribed, condition. So Akasha which is conditioned by a pot. And when this pot is moved, that time Akasha is not moving. In fact, pot is moving in space. It is not that when pot is moved, the space is moving. Space doesn't move. But we will feel, if we are sitting, suppose you are a bacteria in it. So you will feel what? So the space is moving and I am moving. So bacteria is moving along with this pot, but space is not moving. So even though it appears as though space is moving, but really what moves is the pot alone. So when pot moves, pot space appears to move. Bhati really doesn't move. And that is emphasized, Ghataha Niyeta, when space which is conditioned by conditioned by the pot, appears to move when the pot is moved. But really what moves is pot alone, not Akasha. And similarly, this Jivatma is like pot space. Really Jivatma does not move. Jiva is consciousness in its true nature. That consciousness Jiva does not move. But when Upadhi moves, Jiva appears to move. Jiva is free from any travel. Then people will ask, Swamiji, there is a very popular shloka, no? Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunnati naroparani. So we change the dress and go to another dress. And also you have heard this, that this Jiva travels to Vaikuntha, Jiva travels to Brahmaloka. So all these descriptions we have heard. The Jiva travels, Swamiji. The Jiva does not travel. Jiva in its true nature, consciousness does not travel. But when Sukshma Sharira travels, the subtle body travels, and wherever it travels, light consciousness, like light, is always available. And therefore, it will appear that this Jiva is traveling. Like the satellite, we send satellite. When satellite moves in the sky during night, then we will feel that light is moving. Really, light is not moving. Wherever the satellite goes, light is there. So, satellite is reflecting that light. It is not that along with satellite, this light is traveling. In the medium of light, this satellite is traveling. And light requires a medium of reflection to manifest. And therefore, wherever the satellite goes, it looks like that light is traveling. Really, light is not traveling. It will appear as if light is traveling. So, our Sukshma Sharira is like satellite. Consciousness is like light. So, really, consciousness does not travel. What travels is the medium of reflection. And what is that medium of reflection? This Antakarana, Sukshma Sharira. And therefore, Atma, even though it is Atma, even though it is one, but since Upadhi, conditioning factors, are many, and therefore Atma appears to be many. That idea is given here. Ghata Samvrutam Akasham. Akasha is conditioned, Samvrutam means conditioned by pot. And Yatha, just as Ghate Niyamane, when the pot is taken, means moved, then we have to supply. Ghata Samvrutam Akasham Nitam Bhati. So, when the pot is moved, then the space condition by pot appears to move. When this pot is moving, then Ghate Niyamane Sati, when pot is moved, then Ghata Samvrutam Akasham Nitam means moved. Bhati, it appears. Space appears to move. What really moves is pot alone. Space doesn't move. Space doesn't have this capacity to move. Like some fat people cannot move much. So space is fattest, therefore it cannot move. So Ghata Samvrutam Akasham Nitam Bhati. Bhati means appears. So we have to supply this. Yatha Ghate Niyamane Ghata Samvrutam Akasham Nitam Bhati or Nitam Iva Bhati. Then further explain. Ghataha Niyeta. In this situation, which was described in the first half of the verse of this mantra, Ghataha Niyeta, pot will be moved. Na Akashaha. Nakasha is there. Na Akashaha. Space does not move. Alright, this much is the Drishtanta. Dashtanta is what? Tadvat. Similarly, Jivaha. Jivaha means this consciousness. Jiva, who is consciousness in its true nature, is who is Nabhopamaha. Nabhopama means like space. Nabhaha upama yasya nabhopamaha. One who is having the simile of space. In simple words, who is like space. So similarly, Jiva, who is like space, we have to supply. Na chalati. This Jiva, who is consciousness essentially, that Jiva does not travel. So Nabhopamaha Jivaha na chalati. Does not move. So this movement in consciousness is apparent, not real. Because of upadhi, the movement in upadhi, there is a appearance of the movement in upahita. In this example of ghata, ghata is called upadhi, akasha is called upahita. Upahita means conditioned. Ghata is upadhi, conditioning factor. So when there is a movement in the conditioning factor, there is appearance of the movement in conditioned factor. Means jiva does not travel. And does not travel means in jiva, in his true nature, consciousness, there is no action. The jiva is none other than Brahman. In Shruti, we have got a, in Shastra, we have got a very beautiful vakya. Tat srishtva tadevanupravishat. So Paramatma, having created this world, enter into this world represented by the body, mind, sense complex. This is called Pravesha Shruti. In retreat, you will get the glimpse of what is taught in 3 years. So you are getting the glimpse, trailer, so that you can come for movie, ये मूवी का एडवर्टाइजमेंट है. So Pravesha Shruti. So Pravesha Shruti, it's called Pravesha Shruti. This Vakya is called Pravesha. Pravesha means entry. Entry Shruti. And there is a lot of discussion. Pages and pages. Days together we discuss. What is the meaning of Paramatma entering into the body, mind, sense complex? Because Paramatma being the material cause, it is already there. Clay cannot enter into the pot. Clay is already there in pot. How can it enter? Then so many, these Purva Pakshis will be there, so many views. And then final meaning I am telling. Final is that availability of Paramatma as Shrota, Manta, the hearer, thinker, Jiva, is called entry of Paramatma into the body, mind, sense complex. Is a figurative expression. Alright. So here the Jiva, who is Brahman, is like Akasha. When Upadhi moves, it appears to move. When Upadhi does some action, this Jivatma or Brahmatma appear to be doing action. Then Jivatma, when the Upadhi is having the experience of Sukha and Dukha, then Jiva is said to be, considered to be Sukhi and Dukhi. Really what is happening is in Upadhi alone. One fundamental principle of Vedanta is any happening is in Anatma only. Atma, Brahman, is a known happening reality. So before entering into Vedanta, you should be clear this. If you are a happening person, some people are happening person. Happening means what? They always want something to happen. Some party, some trip, some out, some going out, something, some function. So those people will not like this Atma. Because Atma is the most known happening entity, reality. Any happening is in Anatma only. Atma is non-happening reality. Nothing happens in Atma. So Atma, in Atma, no Sukha, no Dukha. But Atma is mixed up in our understanding, not physically mixed up. In our understanding, Atma is mixed up, and therefore Atma, I, appear to be Karta, Bhokta, Sukhi, Dukhi. And seriously, it's not that, oh Swamiji, I think I am Dukhi. It is not that. How are you? You don't say, I think Swamiji, I am Dukhi. I am Dukhi. Even if you say, no, you are not Dukhi. I am Dukhi, Swamiji. I am telling. No, you are Ananda Swarupa. Swamiji, you please don't talk about Vedanta now. I am so sad. Really. People will get angry. That's why, we should not talk about Vedanta when some tragedy has happened in somebody's family. You have Vedanta, Vedanta student as your friend, and in his family some tragedy has happened, and you go for condolence. That time you should not teach him Vedanta. That see our Swamiji, what he was telling, you don't say that. That time you just make the person feel, I am with you. No, I understand it is must be very painful. You empathize with the person. That time don't show your Vedanta. Go with these all class notes and start giving the talk. Even Swami doesn't do that. No, we don't do. We don't teach Vedanta there. No. Even though we are supposed to be doing that only, but we don't do that. Because person is not in the state of mind to receive this. Vedanta should be told when person is ready to listen. So just because you have attended this 1 week retreat, therefore, go and bombard your family to your family members. Whole you have studied. One girl was telling Swamiji, you are teaching Vedanta to my mother for 1 hour, but we have to listen to Vedanta 24 hours. One girl was telling. So, because mother is so enthusiastic, she wants all to learn Vedanta, understand Vedanta, all this. Okay, that by the way, but Atma is ever free from any happening. All happenings are in Upadhi. That is the message conveyed. And by the way, here one more reading is there, which is a better reading. Ghataha niyeta is there. Another reading is liyeta. La is there. Liyeta. And liyeta means dissolved, destroyed. Ghataha liyeta. Pot will be destroyed, resolved into its cause, clay. Na akashaha, and not space. When pot is destroyed, pot alone is destroyed. The space obtaining in pot is not destroyed. So, ghataha liyeta. Na akashaha liyeta. Space will not be destroyed. Tadvat jivo nabhopamaha. When we take that reading, then we include two things. Then we say, by upadhi chalana nashabhyam jivaha na chalati, jivaha na nashyati. When there is the movement in the upadhi, jiva does not move. And when there is destruction of upadhi, resolution of upadhi, jiva is not destroyed. So that other reading also is there, which gives some more details. All right. Now, in the next mantra, it is said that all varieties are there in upadhi, but the upahita, one who appears to be conditioned, is free from variety. And it is not that when upadhi is destroyed, then alone this upahita becomes free from the variety, from varieties. Even when upadhi is there, this atma, space like atma, is free from varieties. So the message we want to give is that all division, varieties in atma are there because of upadhi. But they are transferred to the upahita, conditioned atma. But even when they are transferred, all the varieties are transferred to atma, that time also atma essentially, factually remains free from division. So upadhi attributes the varieties to atma, but atma remains free from varieties. It means Advaitam is recognized not in the absence of experience of Dvaitam, duality. Advaitam is recognized in spite of the experience of duality, then only your understanding of Advaita is correct. If you say that when all upadhis are dissolved, when body is destroyed, mind is dissolved, then I will appreciate I am Advaita. Like, in the house, sometimes you want to be alone, just alone. You just leave me alone. So when will you feel that? When all go away. When all go away, then only you can be alone. Similarly, you think that Advaita I will realize when all the Dvaitam is destroyed. How everything is destroyed. I alone am there. I used to have that fantasy, really. Some years ago, I used to have, see how it would be. Then whole world is destroyed and I alone am there in the whole world. Because Advaita Samskara must be there. Therefore, I used to be so, thrilled with that idea. Wow, how it will be. I alone am there. I can move anywhere, So we think that Advaita can be recognized when Dvaita is destroyed. Vedanta says that is not so. Even when there is experience of Dvaita, the fact is I am Advaita. If you understand Advaita in this manner, then only your understanding of Advaita is correct. If you say I am Advaita when Dvaita experience is not there, then your understanding of Advaita is not correct. And that idea is given in these two shlokas. First we will read the Drishtanta Sthaniya shloka, the shloka which is highlighting the example. Gatavad vividhakaram bhidyamanam punah punah tadbhedena cha janati sajanati cha nityashah. Gatavad vividakaram vidyamanam punah punah. Here we have to supply akasham. The word akasha is masculine and neuter both. So akasham is vidyamanam. Vidyamanam is differentiated, having different shape, forms. Based on what? Ghatavat, like pots. Vividhakaram, having different shapes. So Vidyamanam, differentiated, and differentiated itself is explained Vividhakaram, having different shape, different forms. Vividham is different, various, akaram is forms. So just as this space is Vidyamanam, differentiated in the sense of Vividhakaram, having different shape, different forms. Like what? Ghatavat, like pot. Means, if pots are of different shape, small shape, big shape, depending upon the shape of the pot, Akasha appears to be differentiated. Akasha appears to be having different forms. Punaha punaha means again and again, means this keeps happening. As the shape of the pot is, so will be the shape of the space is, as it were. We have to use the word as it were. In simple words, depending upon the shape of the pot, Akasha appears to assume different forms, different shapes. So now it is a small pot space, big spot space. Like that, different space. and some people want to make square pot. I don't know whether you can make it. So square pot, this elongated, whatever, elliptical, whatever shape, or small, big, depending upon the form of the pot, Akasha appears to have different forms. And Tadbhede. Tadbhede means when all pots are destroyed. Means all pots are broken. So you had suppose 10 pots with different shape. Then you will have the appreciation or perception of space with different shape. And when all pots are destroyed, tad bhede sati, bheda here means nasha. Tad ghata bhede, ghata nashe sati, ghata dvamse sati. Kim bhavati? Nacha janati. Lokaha we have to supply. Common man will think what? Janati means considers things. What? Na janati, does not think. What he does not think? Different shape of the space. When pots are destroyed, then this common man will think what? Now space is only one. Now space doesn't have many shapes. Now space is one. Like we had so many rooms. And so we will say this is a small space here in these rooms, big space here in that room, medium space in that room. But when all rooms are destroyed, demolished, then what? Only one space is there. You can't say this small space, big space. All become one. So now person will not say small space, big space, etc. So that small, medium, big, smaller, bigger, all those divisions are gone. So person will see that now there is space without those shape. This is a common man's experience. But he says, Saha. Saha means that person who is understanding space very well. Saha tad yathatma jnaha. Akasha yathatmya jnaha. The one who knows the true nature of Akasha, nityashaha janati. Nityasha means always, all the time. Janati, understands. What he understands? Akhandakashameva. He understands Akasha to be divisionless all the time. All the time means what? When pots were there, at that time also Akasha is Akhanda. When pots are not there, then also Akasha is Akhanda. Whereas ignorant person, what he thinks? When pots are there, Akasha has assumed shape. And when pots are not there, now Akasha has become one. Akasha is now free from division. But one who understands space very well, he will say that even when pots are there, Akasha is undivided. Akhandam Akasham. He doesn't have to wait for appreciating Akasha to be divisionless. When all this pot will go, then I will experience this indivisible Akasha. He doesn't have to wait. Similarly, in Dashtanta it will be clarified that whether this media of reflection, if you go by Pratibimbavada, or the conditioning factors, Upadi, if you go by Avachedavada, we do not have to wait for Upadi to be destroyed for appreciating Atma to be divisionless, formless, attributeless. Whatever be the situation, whether Upadi is there or Upadi is not there, I, Atma, remain non-dual. Therefore, this wise person does not have the need for Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. When I go to Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, then I will become Advaitam, Nirvikalpam Brahma. That is not the understanding of a wise person. Even when the Vikalpas, varieties are appearing, I continue to be Nirvikalpa. That is real Vedantic Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. Even when the varieties are appearing, divisions are appearing based on Upadhi, I am Nirvikalpaha. He doesn't postpone his enlightenment or moksha to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. When Nirvikalpa Samadhi will happen? Right now I am Nirvikalpa. That is right understanding. Otherwise your enlightenment will be like like a balance. One side you put down, put some weight, other will go up. And if the other side we put a little more, this will go up. Seesaw. Seesaw, what happens? The one fellow goes down, other fellow goes up. So like that, world comes, enlightenment goes. Enlightenment comes, this world goes. That type of situation will be there. And I tell you, most of the people have that type of idea only. When I am in Samadhi, then only I am in Advaita. When I am with the world, how can I say I am in Advaita? That type of situation, that type of thinking remains for very, very long time. That is the difference between yogic approach and Vedantic approach. Yoga people will say, I am abiding in my Swarupa when I am in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Tada drashtuhu Swarupe avasthanam. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha tada chitta vritti nirodha kale drashtuhu Swarupe avasthanam. Then only I am abiding in the Swarupa of Drashta. Whereas Vedanti says, not tada yada, sarvada. We are sarvada people. So sarvada drashtuhu Swarupe eva mama avasthanam. But it looks little, some people say too easy. That's all, Swamiji, just you have to know. That's all. So it is something like when you buy some windows and all, what they give you, some number only they give you. So you give 10,000 rupees and they give only number. That's all. You will say. You expect something to come with you. So similarly, when this Vedanta knowledge is given, that people say, that's all, Swamiji. Only just knowing. You just know first, then you ask. So Vedanti does not depend upon the absence of the experience of Dvaita to appreciate Advaita. If this is understood well, then only Advaita Siddhanta is understood well. Otherwise, what will happen? You will wait. When everybody goes, I will go into Samadhi, I will have Atma. So that type of thing will happen. So whereas this wise person doesn't have. So this was given Drishtanta. Now Dashtanta is explained. I have already explained Dashtanta. Now we will see the words here. Shabdamaya vruto neiva tamasayati pushkare bhinne tamasi chaikatvam eka evanupashyati. Now the mantras which we are going to have are loaded, so much symbolism, so much, just left for us to understand. These details we have to supply. Because now by the time we come to 15, we are senior students. So they expect senior students to understand more. That's how we have to take it. We cannot tell Shruti, why you don't present clearly, Many people have this question. I used to have that, I also long time ago, that why Shruti did not present the subject matter like Tattva Bodha. See, Tattva Bodha, how clear it is. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikarinam, then Viveka Kaha, Vairagyam Kaha, Kim. So all this how systematic. So why that is not the approach of Astika. Astika's approach, Astika means the people who have this sense of validity in Shastra. Their approach is, let me understand what Shruti says. Like if some great Swamiji is there and he gave instruction, but he gave the instruction in a particular way where we have to think so much. So we should not go and tell, Swamiji, now onwards tell me clearly. All this we generally don't do it. Even many ladies, they handle their in-laws well. Even though in-laws don't give clear instruction, till they understand. When father-in-law says that, today I am feeling so full, lunch is so much I ate, I don't feel like eating in the evening. But daughter-in-law understands. Oh, he will eat. Little light food is to be made. So he understands you. Anyway, so similarly, we try to understand what Shruti has said. This is a very important particular principle in understanding, approaching the Shruti. You are not editor of Shruti, you are the reader of Shruti. Once I had asked this something like this question, so my teacher, one of the teachers, he said, your job is to understand what Shruti has said. If you write some text, you write clearly. When we have to write, I tried to write, when I try to write clearly. But then when I write also, some people will find, oh Swamiji, it's not very clear. So it happens. Alright, so here some few things we have to supply. Here one example is given, that a person veiled by, covered by darkness, means there is a darkness around, then he cannot reach a Tirtha Yatra, a pilgrimage place. He requires some light. If he is covered by darkness, if he is surrounded by darkness, then he will not be able to reach a sacred place. Similarly, when Jiva is veiled by Maya, Avarana Shakti of Maya, then Jiva will not be able to abide in Atma, in the understanding of Atma. But when knowledge comes and the ignorance goes away, then he can appreciate, he can abide in Atma. That is the message given in this shloka. So, Shabda Maya Vrutaha Naiva Yati Pushkare. The word Pushkara has got different meanings. One meaning of Pushkara is blue lotus. Lotus also is called Pushkara. And a place, holy space or holy place or holy space, especially particular holy space, is also called Pushkara. There is one place near Ajmer in Madhya Pradesh, I suppose. Rajasthan, Rajasthan, sorry, Rajasthan. I have gone there also, I forgot. So, Rajasthan. So, their place is there called Pushkara. And they say, in the entire world, now somebody has made, only one place there is worship of Brahmaji. Brahmaji is worshipped only in one place. Poor Brahmaji, he created the whole world, but not worshipped. Vishnu is taking everywhere credit. No. Anyway, there is a stories for that also. So, Pushkara is a place associated with Brahmaji, is considered to be a very holy place. And here the implied meaning of this Pushkara is Atma Tattvam, Chidakashaha. Pushkara has one meaning, Akasha. So many meanings are there. So one meaning is Akasha, and here it refers to Chidakasha. So in Drishtanta, it refers to holy place. In Dashtanta, it refers to the space in the form of Atma, the self. Chidakashaha, Atmakashaha. So what is the example? Tamasa avrutah, tamasa andhakarena avrutah jantuhu pushkare naiva yati. That is the Drishtanta part. Those who are following Sanskrit words, for them I gave this tamasa andhakarena avrutah jantuhu purushaha pushkare naiva yati. A person who is surrounded by darkness does not reach Pushkara, a sacred place. Dashtanta, in the Dashtanta means main subject matter. Shabda Maya Vrutaha Pushkare Atmani Naiva Yati. So a person, a jiva, who is avruta, covered by what? Maya. Maya means this power of Brahman for creation. And Maya has got two power. This one is called Avarana Shakti, other is called Vikshepa Shakti. So any jiva who is covered by Maya, especially Avarana Shakti of Maya. And this Maya is what? Shabda. Here Shabda should be understood as Shabdartha Prapancha Hetu Bhuta. Maya, which is the cause for the sound, words and their meanings. So Shabda Maya means Shabdartha Shabdartha Prapancha Hetu Bhuta Maya. Maya, which is the cause for the words, sound, words and their meanings. Like ghata, pot, is a word, pot, and it has got corresponding object. So the word is called Shabda in Sanskrit, and the object is called Artha. Shabda and Artha. In Vedantic language we call Nama and Rupa. Shabda and Artha is otherwise presented as Nama and Rupa. Names and forms. And forms here means attributes. So Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all of them are called Rupa, attributes. Puja Swamiji used to say words and their meanings. So words and their meanings are created by the Vikshepa Shakti, the projection power of Maya. Therefore Maya is called Shabda Maya. And that Maya has got Avarana Shakti as well. And because of that, the Jiva is Avrutaha. Jiva who is veiled by Maya, which is the cause for names and forms, that Jiva, Pushkare. Pushkare means this Swarupe, in his own true nature, Nayati, he does not abide. So Jiva, veiled by this Avarana Shakti of Maya, does not abide in Pushkare, in Chidakasha, in the space like consciousness. And does not abide means what? Does not abide in the knowledge of Atma. That is the condition of Jiva when Jiva is under the spell of Maya. But bhinne tamasi cha. But when that darkness of Maya, Avarana Shakti of Maya, bhinne, when it is destroyed, ekah eva san, Jiva being one alone, seeing oneself to be one alone, in Jagrat, Swapna and Shushupti, ekah eva Atma, we have seen in the earlier shlokas, Eka eva atma mantavyah jagrat swapna shushuptishu. So being one alone, appreciating oneself to be one atma alone, ekatvam anupashyati. He appreciates oneness of atma. Means all are nothing but atma. All the objects of the world are essentially nothing but one atma. In this manner, ekatvam anupashyati. In simple words, he appreciates himself to be one atma obtaining in all three states of experience, and he is seeing that I atma alone am in the form of all objects, all the bodies, all the minds. In this manner, ekatvam anupashyati. And pashyati means recognizes. Anu has got special meaning. Shastracharyopadesham anu. In keeping with the teaching of the Shastra and Acharya, he recognizes the oneness, essential oneness behind everything. Thus, with the help of the teaching, this person gets knowledge, and because of that knowledge, this avaranam is gone, the veiling factor is gone, and he appreciates the truth. And what is the truth? There is only one non-dual Atma. And when does he appreciate? Not in Nirvikalpaka Samadhi alone. Nirvikalpaka Samadhi also he appreciates. We don't deny that. After studying Shastra, he has got the vision and he is doing contemplation. A wise person can have Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It is not that wise person meaning, so I should not have Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In fact, for him it is very effortless to be in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It is for him very easy because he doesn't have any attachment, he doesn't have distraction, so it is easy. So he appreciates this Atma, Nirvikalpa Atma, in Nirvikalpaka Samadhi also, and when he is interacting with the world also. Like the person who has understood space very well, he appreciates space to be akhanda, indivisible, irrespective of the presence and absence of parts. So similarly, irrespective of presence of this Dvaita Anubhava, he appreciates this Advaita Atma, Akhanda Atma. Now, in the next shloka, so up to this 15th shloka, there was revelation of what Brahman is. So 8 to 15 is the Brahmopadesha, Brahmatmopadesha, what is the nature of Brahman. Now again, he comes to the topic of sadhanam from the next shloka, next mantra. Shabdaksharam param brahma tasmin kshine yadaksharam tadvidvanaksharam dhyayet yadicchechantim atmanah. Again, in this mantra, Omkara Dhyanam is presented. And especially the silence dimension of Omkara is to be used for appreciating the limitless Brahman. So by appreciating silence dimension of Omkara, one meditates upon, contemplates upon limitless Brahma. And by that, he attains Shantihi. He abides in Shanta Swarupaha. Those details we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.